can understand why people would have apprehension about it because it looked like, oh, it's just a teen drama. What's that? What are they doing with the Gem name? And the second one, I'm like, okay, they're including some of the elements that are about, winks and nods to the classic show and the featurette. So I think so. I feel confident that they're going to have things that we'll like in it. So I'm going to open up the floor to what other people have thought about the movie. Yes?
You mentioned teen drama. I would just like to point out that I think the original TV show was the epitome of a teen drama. Having said that, though, it's such a big thrill to actually see Gem trailers and a Gem movie coming to theaters. However good it is, it's only the beginning, right? And it's only being the more wonderful guys.
I'm going to tell my story that when, okay, so I always maintain that when if I ever won the lottery, the first thing on my top list would be to make the Gem movie. I used to go see movies, and I used to after the trailer was done, or just a random trailer, I just can't wait to the Gem movie, to put it in the universe and to be stupid. And now finally they actually made a Gem movie. So me and Garth went to see the Gem trailer was
It's perfect too. Atlanta and I actually went to see a movie to see the trailer.
So I finally got to see it in real life, and to me that's the dream come true. I never imagined they'd ever make a Gem movie. So I mean, even though it might not be the most perfect thing that we want, it's a Gem movie, and that's good.
I definitely understand the trepidation that a lot of people have been feeling because for the kids and in Gem they were all adults. But in that bit where it said it's a prequel, and that's pretty cool, and also it was really trepidatious about the Josie and the Pussycats movie, and it now wound up being perfect and so true to the feeling. It was true to the feeling of the show. So this seems like it's going to be true to the feel of the show, and that matters.
Well, I think that was so good. No one needed to follow up. But yeah, I agree with that because I think too a lot of it is trying to update something that is classic while making it modern, and that's a difficult balance because you see it even with TV show reboots. That so sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So finding that balance is important, and to keep the original fan base as well as build a new one. So I think they're heading in the right direction more than initially it seemed. So I think it'll be something worth checking out, even if it's not for everything.
I think that one issue I think is missing is the secret identity, because right at the start, Erica says you're Gem. So it seems obvious that there's no secret, and Synergy is also may have some kind of a R2D2 toy that projects just to comfort them. So I think there's a part missing of the original story.
But I wonder too, because I'm going to bring up a comic book example.
Maybe there's something else that goes way better. Because what I was imagining when the film comes, it is if we had 3D, we would have some kind of 3D holograms in front of us. That could be very interesting. But I don't know.
I think there might be something that we're not seeing yet in the movie. So if people in here,
it's a small budget, so I don't think it will be 3D, but to exploit, because now the technology is more and more advanced, we can almost touch real life hologram. So it would be interesting to be just a little ahead of the time that would be possible.
Was that actual holograms? So what?
It seems to be put aside.
So I would say, just really quickly, speaking to the point about her secret identity, so Jacques was mentioning how the movie appears that everyone knows she's Gem already, and there's not a secret identity. But what I would say is that in the 80s, when they rebooted Wonder Woman, people usually know Diana Prince in Wonder Woman, but in the 80s, when they restarted the comic book, she said, I don't need a secret identity, I'm just Diana. So when they reboot certain things, maybe in this version of Gem, they didn't think it was essential. So we'll just have to see how that plays out.
I want to beg to disagree. I think they did lose the essence. From the trailer, it doesn't seem like they've lost the essence of that. Instead, I see the premise of a story of somebody struggling with identity. It's being still true to that idea of being true to yourself. I could see that here she is. She's an artist, musician, and she has to struggle with the identity of who the Starlight music wants her to be. And what's expected of her. So I think there's that element of secret identity who she really is, and she's still discovering that. Yeah.
And trying to do that while they're forcing the expectations on her of a rock star.
Absolutely, and like I could see like it has much needed updates, you know, in terms of technology. Like here they are, the beginnings of what we could see as synergy seem to be exciting.
Because there at least is a synergy. At first, they thought there was no synergy in the movie, so now we know there is a form of synergy.
Yeah, and building on that and responding to you, there was a clip on Amazon that the actress who plays Kimber said, you know, we can't give away everything in the trailer. There's going to be some surprises. I think a lot of people are going to be happy. I wasn't happy with synergy either. I'm not synergy. But I was excited by that because I hate trailers to give away everything, and so definitely looking forward to surprises.
Yay!
I have like a production kind of question. I guess my first question was the second trailer in response to how savage the internet, that first trailer is ass, pardon my French, the internet was like, hell no. So I wonder how much that they said, okay, we need to show synergy, we need to show this and that, just to kind of calm the fans down. So I wonder, my first part of the question is, how much is Universal listening to the kind of OG Gem fans? And my second question is kind of when, because I was trying to follow it on social media, when John Chu first announced it, he was like, it's going to be collaborative, we're going to write songs for it, social media, and I know some people in here were involved in the aspect, so I guess my question is that stuff coming? Because I haven't really seen a lot of it in terms of like fan contributions to the film itself, or just anyone that's worked with Universal and the production company with the viral portion. I guess I'm asking how much they listening to us, and what's up with the viral piece from the collaboration?
I would say I actually don't know too much about how much they're listening, but
I'm a film person, and so marketing-wise, it was probably the smartest thing they could do to release a trailer that the fans didn't like originally. Because you look at the movies coming out like TMNT and Transformers that were popular in the 80s, and fans are like up in arms about it being totally an abomination to the show. But people like that. People almost get off on that. So by releasing a trailer that fans didn't like, and then releasing one that's like, just kidding, here's all the stuff you love, it's kind of pulling you guys in. Not to say you guys are like corporate sheep or anything, but yeah, no, it's a way of pulling you guys in. I don't know how much they're actually like listening so much as they're just being really smart marketing wise.
I have a theory, and I posted this in the Gem and Friends Facebook group, that Jonathan Chu is really uber A on Pretty Little Liars, and that a new trailer and a new movie is coming out, and this was just a teaser. It was all just to like.
So that's all that exists of this, and then there's going to be.
It was really just to like mind fuck everyone. You know? There's really a new movie coming out, and this was just to like mess with everyone, like how A does on Pretty Little Liars. That's my theory.
I heard that.
well, I think also from what I've read, some of the fan contributions are still being added at the last minute. So from what I've read from people is that they did a screening, like I think most of us probably saw the picture with John Chu with Christy Marks, Britta Phillips, and Samantha Newark. So during that screening, which is apparently a very private kind of a screening, they were mentioning something about along the lines of still looking for the fan contributions to add to the movie before it reaches theaters. So I think they will have some of the contributions that even some people I think recognize themselves in the trailer. We have Mr. Mike Waters over here.
Yes,
So I think there are definitely going to be some fan contributions in the movie. It remains to be seen how many and how they'll appear, and I think
I heard something about someone did some fan art and then they said it was going to be like in a montage or something. Like even just a fan art that was submitted, if it's like on the screen for a second, it's included, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think they will find ways of including the contributions from fans. So I guess that's another way to pull us in too. Is that we're gonna have to wait and see. But I also agree that I do know that I do think in my opinion is that the second trailer definitely was from the backlash. Because I do remember even like we have an entertainment show in Canada called E-Talk. They did a story about how the negative backlash was going like Gem movie outrage, and it was like okay, like
truly outraged.
Exactly. They were like yeah. I think that's what they actually called the story, truly outrageous, and.
Well, I just have to say, how awesome is it that Gem is making news, though, right? Like,
Yes.
2015, and we're seeing Gem everywhere. Like, that's amazing.
Yes.
your favorite, even if parts of it you hate, there's more attention, there's more stuff. Like the volume of like we're gonna get new products and new toys. We've got a whole new future universe to decide if we love or hate. And chances are we're gonna love something of it, and that's just beyond exciting.
Yeah, can there be anything wrong with more Gem?
To tack on that, when I first saw the trailer along with the outrage, I was like, they're Erica Raven, like what is this? She's supposed to own Starlight, why did they change all this stuff? And then the comic came out, and I was, why couldn't they make it more like a comic? That was closer to canon than the actual storyline was. And as I was looking between the two examples of modernization, and I have a bunch of friends in different fandom, Harry Potter and whatnot, but there's a whole section that chooses to realign relationships and whatnot. So the fact that they were changing Kimber and Stormer's relationship, I thought that was interesting, and yet it could infuriate a lot of people because it's changing the canon that was set from the original. So if that's okay, and I'm accepting that's okay, why is that not going to make me like this new movie? So I've done kind of a complete 180, and all right, I'll give it a chance. It's an alternate universe. If this was done in completely different circumstances, this might be how the story would go.
That's true. I think it's actually a perfect jumping off point to start talking about the comic book, because I think the comic came out around the same time that people were buzzing about the movie, and then I think people generally seem to be reacting really favorably towards it. Like, I find it's a great update that keeps a lot of the tone of the original. As you said, it stays very close to the canon. So I like the changes that they made, because it does feel like it's updating it in a way that's familiar, yet covering some new ground. Like, I do like the change of Kimber and Stormer kind of being a potential couple, and the fact that they're introducing different body sizes and different aesthetics, that, you know, people do come in different shapes and sizes and colors, and it's just, you want to have that diversity reflected in something you're reading. So I think that being open to that is a great thing. And what do people think about the comic book so far?
Yay! There's like little, I wouldn't call them Easter eggs, but there was like a poster of the Stingers, and then there was like the Limp Lizards were like at that concert when they were trying to play, and I think those pictures are so cute. Like, if you're really in tune to the fandom, you'll like appreciate the nod to the original.
Like, the winks. Like, it's always good to have some winks, because, you know, Jem herself will ding, you know, in the opening credits. But yeah, I find that it is keeping very in line with the original kind of vibe, and so I'm happy with it. I like it. But I'm getting a Gem comic book, so that's cool. Like just going to a comic store and be like, I can buy Gem every month. It's like, it's wow.
If I refer to what I saw with TMNT, I think in movies it's quite different than in cartoons. Because I think the TMNT movies are not following closely the cartoon, the old cartoon. And I think it would be the same thing for Gem. The movie is more like people, and it's kind of another perspective than the cartoon. I think the comic book has its own path also. I think the real test will be if there is a new cartoon. If there is a big line of dolls, but if there is a new cartoon, now it will be even to compare. But I think it's maybe not surprising that the movie is slightly different from the canon of the cartoon.
That's true, yeah. For live action, it's difficult to make that transition sometimes, so they have to make some changes.
They could add some different aspect, like no secret identity, Synergy is not doing the holograms for, well, maybe they don't put the accent on it. So maybe it will be like an alternate story, and I think the basic thing is the spirit between the characters. I think it is what is the basic line of the story.
Other thing,
But also with like the comic, you can like, there's so much more you can do. Like, they're so limited in like TV with budget, but like a comic, like a cartoon, it's kind of like limitless. Like they can have crazy wardrobe changes like 17 times in one comic if need be, if they wanted to, and like crazy outrageous sets, whereas that would definitely present a problem if it was in like a movie.
Yeah, like Jem said, you have freedom. Because in the comic you can do so much more. And we're in Philadelphia, so freedom is an important part of the Jem comic.
Yeah.
Oh, but and so the comic. So everybody. Are there any comments about what? Oh yeah, Jessica.
So I do want to weigh in on the comic because I'm loving it. I all of the updates you mentioned are amazing. I think there is one thing I struggle with, and I just don't know if anyone else struggles with it. Is that I like the way they tried to show that these panels are a music video, but I still can't affix a melody to it, and I sort of end up skipping over the lyrics and just looking at the pictures like, oh yeah, this is a good music video, and moving on. So I don't know, is anybody else having trouble with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I want it to come with an audio version.
Yeah, it is because I
As read.
Yeah, you see the lyrics and you don't know what to like. Oh, is that like a pop song or ballad? It's like it's not quite the same as the show, but I admire them for trying to show.
They tried really hard.
Because the visuals are amazing. Like I think they look really cool in the comic to give that element of like, here's Jem's new video.
Oh, I have to say though, like with the comic, like the one thing I mean maybe people will disagree with me here, but with the TV show, we never really understood why Jericho became Jem, right? Like it just kind of happened all of a sudden. They show up for the concert and all of a sudden she's Jem. Whereas in the comic, they actually explained, they gave the whole backstory that Jericho has stage fright and all of that. So I really like that different kind of canon to it. But then what I also really like about the comic book is that it's called Jem, but you don't actually see Jem all that much. It's more like Jericho's story, and it's more Kimber's story too, which I love.
Yay!
But it's like going into the characters and more like more backstory, more detail. But to Jessica's point, I feel like the comics are too short because you get like 2 or 3 pages of song and you just kind of skip over, and then you get like 3 pages of letters at the back. It's just like that's it. That's the end. I have to wait another month. Like it's for me. I've never bought comics before, so it's really like a new like oh my god.
Going through that, it's 19 weeks, so yes.
But yeah, I love it. I love everything about the comic. I mean, and even those like little character bios at the back. And how did make Kimber go from being boy crazy to girl crazy? Like I think that's just so sweet.
Well, I think that's a good point. Like, I do love that they gave Jericho a reason to become Jem. And when I saw that people one person was really upset, like I saw it on one of the message boards, that they were upset that how could they change Kimber from being boy crazy to girl crazy. And then someone pointed out that it's the same aspect of her character. It's just a new take on it because she's still crazy. She's still, well, not it came out wrong, but she still has the aspect of being like, ooh, like outrageous, but just she prefers women now. So that's kind of cool that they kept that core element, just gave it a modern twist.
It's a logical translation from the cartoon because they did have that short storyline where Kimber and Stormer strike out on their own and do, kind of
a band together, yeah. Well, the band together, and also one of the lyrics that just stands out in the Bad Influence song is like, she'll break your heart in two, and it's like, from forming a band together? I guess. And then they're like kicking up their legs on the Broadway stage. It becomes a whole other thing, but
That's one of the things I think is interesting about with the comic and the movie. Like when the show started, I don't know if they knew what they were going to do with all these characters, and they go a lot of different places with it within the show eventually, And so I think it's fun now for people to go to make a new thing altogether and go, we like this about what was there before, and we like, because like this, that they do team up on the show, and there is sort of an implication that there could have potentially been something there, and so I think it's fun to pick that because if they're starting from scratch, just like with flesh everything else out. They've got to rediscover all of that, and they've already got stuff to work with that has been handed to them from before, and that's what I think is so cool, is they did, when they wrote the show, they're making it up, there's nothing to go from, and so there's stuff to pull from now, and I think that is going to be cool as it continues on, just because there's so much stuff we haven't gotten to see yet that we did get on the show, and things like that, so I'm excited to see sort of what other continuations on from stuff they sort of started in the show but didn't really necessarily ever get to like see through fruition.
Yeah, 'cause it's definitely a good way to tease out the drama throughout the comic. Like now, yeah, you're right. They have a whole like starting base to kind of keep people interested. Like, oh, the rivalry, like that. Now it's this like romantic kind of angle to it. So, oh. So guys, okay. So the comic book. Oh yeah.
I think what was interesting, I noticed this in like some of the message boards, there was controversy and like confusion about when Jerrica transforms into Jem in the comics, she actually ends up like growing taller. So people were saying if Rio, like in the show, if Rio were to kiss Jem, it was fine because there was actually like a physical body of Jerrica there behind the hologram of Jem. But in the comics now, if Jem is actually taller and Rio goes to kiss her, he's gonna like kiss air. So I'm curious to see, like, 'cause that was actually asked and addressed in the back of like the fan questions in the back of the comics. So I'm curious to see how that gets explained. Because the comics are not that long of a story. Like each issue, there's not. When you go and you like read through it, and you can read through it in like 5 or 10 minutes, you know. So I'll be curious to see how they managed to explain that.
That's a good point. That's really.
I did not consider that.
Yeah.
Like speaking of Rio,
Who is he kissing indeed?
speaking of Rio, I never liked cartoon Rio. I always thought like Jem and Jerrica was such a powerful woman. Why did she have this kind of like guy who just didn't appreciate Jerrica for who she was? I just never really liked him, but like I love comic book Rio, and you can't go wrong with Ryan Guzman in the movie. So I sort of feel like they revamped Rio in a really positive way, and he's more modern. You know, he treats a woman the way that she should be treated. You never really saw cartoon Rio doing that much of that.
Yeah, cartoon Rio was very changeable. Like, you know, that one episode where Jem has 3 identities, you know? It's like, and then Synergy tries to explain it with, he falls in love with your inner self. Oh, Synergy.
Synergy is an enabler.
Yes.
Well, like that episode, like they have one bad like dust up at the concert, and then he goes off and runs to find another woman. Like it's just, he's got some problems.
As much as we have, I'm going to say this as a general premise while we're talking about Rio. As much as we have seen movies and TV shows where there's continually a leading man, for Jem to be the way the kind of show that it was, Rio as the leading man didn't really fit the mold of what we had become used to. And he had almost become a supporting character to what Jerrica or Jem was really doing. So his mood fluctuation was just a part of whatever was going on to propel Jerrica's story. That's why he was so temperamental. You know, if she needed a support, he was there. If he needed to have a temper tantrum to force her secret deeper inside, then that's what he did. So he was just a part of whatever story she was going on.
That's interesting because I never really thought of it that way. That's actually kind of cool because I think even in the article, I don't know if everyone saw the article that was in the newspaper or the links going around. Like, so it was saying like it's one of the shows that was very ahead of its time for being a female protagonist in the '80s, and it was all based around an all-female group. So that was, you know, that aspect was
But
very.
then they also didn't point that out. It wasn't, we're all females and we're doing it and it was just, you did it. It was just, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very matter of fact,
Yeah.
Yay! I was talking about that. I didn't think it was like one of those things I didn't think about at the time. Where I was like, oh, okay, because I love them. They're amazing. It was like, okay, so we might have enough time to talk about the dolls for a little bit because I think the dolls, the integrity dolls, yeah, that was because the dolls. I think that what really started the ball rolling on Modern Jem was the integrity dolls because they did put out the DVDs of the series, and that kind of boosted the profile of Jem again. But then after that, because I remember around, I think it was 2010, they said we're not putting any DVDs out, and then 2011 they're like, here's a complete series. I'm like, okay, we're like, okay, thank you. And then by 2011, that's when like rumblings were like, oh, is there a new doll? Why are they trademarking the names again? And then all of a sudden, and I think it was 2012 at the San Diego Comic-Con. That's when they introduced Hollywood Jem.
But when
And
there was that comic.
oh yes.
Things that had like the
Synergy.
Speak of Synergy, and she was like narrating the comic that was.
Was that 2011 or was
I
that?
don't even know what it was, but I know
That
like
was
that
at
was
New York
crazy.
Comic Con. It was before the Hollywood Gym.
So before Hollywood Gem, they had a comic that Hasbro put out that did feature Synergy, and she mentioned that she was Jerica's protector, and that was kind of the first little crumb that got dropped. I was like, oh, they might be doing something again.
Well, they did like that poster too.
Yeah, the poster that they had, and so they had a little bit of Gem around the time that the DVDs came out, and then it just seemed like, I wrote that off. I thought, oh, it's just
But there was
promotion for the
somebody
DVD.
in the scene in JemCon.org, I forget who it was, but they were like, there's something big happening with Gem. It's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And then there was like the San Diego Comic Con, and then nothing happened. So we were like, whatever, they're full of it. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is what they were talking about. Like, it was like a huge thing. Like, they knew, but they weren't allowed to say. And they were kind of alluding to the fact that there was like a lot of stuff happening. So I don't know how much they actually knew, because like this is huge. Like all this, like the comic, the dolls, the movie. Like how much do they really know?
Because at that time it seemed like, oh, the DVDs, that's going to be it, and then they might put out a Halloween costume, or it's just something very simple. So then, yeah, but after that, then after Hollywood Gem came out, and then it seemed like, okay, that's going to be a one-off, that's like just an exclusive, and then they're just testing this out, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's a full line of like the original holograms. So how do people feel about those dolls coming in and compared to the originals and that whole era of like, oh, new Gem merchandise coming out on a regular basis?
I absolutely loved it. I loved it. And what's so funny is that I used to collect Barbie. And I say used to is also a synonym for current. But when Hollywood Gem came out, that is still my favorite Integrity doll to this day.
Oh, for sure.
I loved it. I'm so glad that they did it. I just wish they didn't cost so much. But yes, I'm very glad that they did it. The dolls are very intricate. They're very, very detailed. They're very modern. It's about time.
Gem Revolution.
But they can't improve on what Hasbro.
Uh-oh, the throwdown has happened. They can't improve on what Hasbro just did.
I'm sorry.
I don't think that they can improve on what Hasbro did. It was perfect the way that it was.
But
And
they
it
did.
is.
They did a lot of prototypes, so Hasbro didn't even do all they released.
I mean, yeah,
Hasbro started.
I think that the things that have excited me were Hollywood Gem, Regine, Astral, things that didn't come out. And I feel like a lot of the other stuff has just been like, oh, we're making it cartoon accurate. Well, I don't really care. Like, I like the originals though, so.
Well, you can never take
I
that
still
away.
have those.
For sure.
I still have
I mean, I think that if they're gonna do this, and they're gonna cost this much, I feel like do something a little bit new with it, more imaginative.
Their instruments are amazing. The instruments are so intricate.
Those
They're
are
like
good.
real. And then they like with the instrument thing that they had where it was like the Misfits and Jen with the little
Oh, yeah,
case.
that's
So they did something like that.
Yeah.
That's new.
Look at it, they invested a lot. Like that's what's kind of interesting. It's kind of like an interesting scenario because what's come up is the cost and the bringing of exclusives that haven't been produced before. So that's an aspect to draw collectors in.
One other thing that I would add to the Integrity Collection, balance out the gender proportion. There are so many women, get some more guys for the Integrity Collection. That's the only other thing that I would say.
That's true, and they do. And I was really surprised that they waited so long for Eric. They have not produced Eric Raymond, and it's just it produced almost every other male character. And I think yesterday somebody was saying that someone was saying yesterday like, will they make Harriet Horn next? Like they've done so many characters that are pretty minor, and then now it's like Eric is one of the main villains that they haven't done
So what characters apply do you want to see? Because I think they made almost everyone except for Eric. There's
I'm thinking, IT did an Ollie character who's completely equal to Jeff Wright, which isn't really fair because they're capitalizing on Jeff interest for other Integrity products. So I wasn't thrilled about that completely. But they could do a Sean Harrison, they could do a Howard Sands if they wanted to go that route. They could do a Mr. Xanthos, but he is a minor character. The other guys, they could do just Craig Phillips, definitely. I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting for that one. If they wanted to, they could do zipper, but that's kind of, you know, far-fetched a little bit.
They can't make a hair color for Zipper in the cartoon. How can they make a hair color?
He would call it two heads.
But
Are there any rumors about a mass market gem doll?
There's a Shop Pop. There's a Shop Pop exclusive that's coming, and it's called the Legacy Collection, but I don't.
Is that from Shop Up or is that from
It's
the
Integrity. I think it's Integrity, but it's through Shop Pop. Yeah. So no one knows what doll. Oh yes.
Well, I reached out to Hasbro, you know, because I worked there for 18 years.
Yes, everyone, a round of applause.
I asked them, I said, what are your plans? And the last I heard from them was, we don't have any product plans. And quite honestly, they are very busy. They just got the Disney Princess license from, they took it from Mattel, and so they're putting all their eggs in that basket. So I don't know. I would not guess, and I have pretty good industry intel that there's going to be anything on the market. Certainly not for the movie, but you never know. There's going to be some secrets that they're keeping.
Hopefully, yeah.
I would wish it to be true, but there's no one there anymore who understands who she, you know, the history and what was the DNA of her. But we'll see.
Then Aubrey Peoples had said something about she got that head or whatever, that she had to approve the likeness of it.
Oh yeah, the movie. Yes, the movie gem said that they did take a mold of her head or something. So I don't know if that.
Mail it to her. It was like she got it. Like I got an email or something, a picture of it, but she was supposed to approve the likeness.
If they're planning sequels,
Aubrey Peoples, she's the one that's playing a gem.
Right.
So
Someone from Hasbro sent her what?
the head.
She got a head in the mail.
I was like.
Or it was like something
it
about.
was an email.
Of the original.
No, of herself. That she had to approve the likeness. And she said it was weird because it didn't have any hair yet, and it was blank. And
So it was probably a
prototype.
skull.
Yeah.
So maybe they are.
Was it Hasbro company who did that or another?
Well, I don't know. It was just like.
Yeah, that she never said what company. She just said they did a.
Maybe there's another company.
Yeah, maybe Integrity's doing a movie line and a legacy line. Oh God.
I think Hasbro wants to wait to see how well the movie does before they move forward with their play line.
That's true, yeah, because what James just brought up is that they might want to wait and see how well the movie does, because they might do things like cast the face of the actresses just in case if the movie does gangbusters and they need merchandise, then let's roll out some stuff. If it doesn't do so well, then they'll hold back a little bit.
What would be like the production time on something like that? Didn't they have to start when you got that photo with them?
For a company the size of Hasbro and the layers of people who put their fingerprints all over it to justify the position, it takes time unless they fast track it, which I don't know today if they can. I mean, there are companies that can fast track. They own the IP, so it's not like you have to send it to a licensor. You know, when you work with Disney, you have to send every single thing to Disney, and then there's 5 or 6 people that approve or reject. So I mean, if they truly wanted to do it, you could do it real fast. You could put a team on a plane to China and get it done. I don't. Most of the people that I knew on from Hasbro, and I still have most of the people. They're very high level, so they're not going down in the trenches.
I just want to point out that the people working there now are our age, and they were young fans of our county, so I think we see a lot of that coming through too, is the executives for us in this community, so I think they do understand that thing, but that's just my theory.
Unless
Well-
they're ex-Mattel, because Mattel can't share.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've got like a new Barbie rock star. Colored hair.
It seems very suspicious that they have a Barbie rock line again.
Yeah,
We're like,
right.
oh, she's got pink hair. Like,
They keep that whole thing like ruby red, like come on, like it's all they're all secret. Maybe Hasbro's all secretive because they know about because there's that whole thing. I mean, I've dreamed, but you never know.
Oh no, it's Mattel.
yeah, Mattel's coming back.
No,
with
what
more.
is that? They're like having a rivalry. Yeah, if that happens.
It's like 30 years ago all over again.
It is.
Oh my goodness! But that's one of the interesting things to see how the doll market has changed from then to now, because just the idea that collector's dolls have grown so much from the original play lines, and now that we're adults and they expect us to kind of be nostalgic, and then it's like, oh, we can put out a doll for like $125, and you know you need to collect them all, and it's like, oh, okay, then, you know, like I can get an original gem in the box from the '80s for a cheaper price than the new one. Yeah, so I think there's some aspects to the new that might be a little more challenging than the original line. And do we have any more questions or comments? Yay!
So I actually met with, it was for a job interview, but I met with the licensing team at American Greetings, which has partnerships with a lot of those companies like Mattel and Hasbro. And they took it from Hallmark, and it was mainly for party goods and that kind of thing. So they just started out doing greeting cards, and then now they're doing a lot with party goods. Like if you were to have like a Disney princess or My Little Pony birthday party, and you wanted to buy like the cups and the plates and that sort of thing, there's like what Gina was saying. There's all of these approval processes with the art and the creative and that sort of thing. So that's what American Greetings does. It's like a third-party company. So I interviewed for a job last year, and they're headquartered like right where I live, and their licensing team. They were working on stuff with Ninja Turtles and all that stuff, and I was talking to them about Gem. And I was trying to like put the little idea in their head, like you need to reach out, and they were like, oh yeah, you know, the movie's coming out, and so I was like the second runner-up for the job, but I'm staying in touch with the director of product licensing at American Greetings, because I'm still trying to get my foot in the door at the company. And I was telling him, I was like, the movie's coming out, I guarantee there's going to be licensing opportunities, and then like when the Sephora makeup came out, and then when the comic came out, I kept like sending him emails. I was like, you might want to reach out to Hasbro, see. So I'm only one person, but I'm trying to do like behind the scenes, you know, just do little things here and there. So there is interest on the
Hallmark
vendor
is
side
doing
though.
the ornament.
The ornament, yes.
You know you made it when you made it into a Hallmark.
Yeah.
And that is literally old meets new, because the classic ornament new from Hallmark.
Yeah, the Christmas one was this year. Yeah.
So yes, next year, not this Christmas season, but next Christmas season, there will be a gem ornament. from
Oh, it's not
Hallmark.
this year?
I don't think no. They already have this year's. They came out in August. They always release them really early.
Yeah, but sometimes they put stuff out later.
I think it was just a preview. Like the one they showed is just like the prototype. I know. I think.
No, Garth, I think you're wrong.
Well, I would be happy if it came out this year. We'll check it. Oh, but yeah, so new ornaments, new dolls, new movies, new music. Glamour and glitter, fashion and fame live on. I think we have time for just a few more comments.
They should bring back all of like the Starlight Girls and Mrs. Bailey, and then it could be like a facts of life kind of thing.
I like a TV series.
Like I said, depending on how good the movie does, we could be seeing all this stuff in the next year or two. We could see another TV series or, you know, an everyday line in Target. I think everything is hinging on this movie. It's not the collectors or the comics or anything that's going to do. I think this movie going to the mainstream is going to make or break what happens with them in the future.
Another question? Sorry. What? Because all of you might know that Kim Kardashian has her own movie into the celebrity life. But if they made a gem in a hologram scheme where you get to live like a rock star and make friends and live a celebrity A-list life, that would be so amazing, and I would download it and play it every day.
That would be interesting, yeah. So we consider like a gem game, like the Kim Kardashian game.
And Christy Marks writes for Zynga, so she could write for a mobile game for if she was so inclined.
Well, I think that's an interesting thing because I think that's actually something that coming back to like games and social media. That's one of the aspects of the Gem movie and even the comic book that they introduced the element of like, oh, she has a video that gets uploaded to YouTube and then everybody freaks out as she becomes famous. And it's interesting the shift in like before you just had to have a really hot song and get it on the radio and do a concert, and now it's like no, you have to kind of everything famous so fleeting these days that they have to incorporate that to the movie where oh, she's an internet sensation and that plays a big part into her fame. So yes, how do people feel about the social media aspect changing like the origin story of Gem? Like if that plays a bigger part in how she becomes famous?
I think it was well done, and I'm really glad he didn't beat it to death. It could have gone either way, and I actually think it was handled really precisely, so I was relieved.
It seemed to be the most natural way of kind of updating the story without, because that's how people get discovered these days. And ironically, the director John Chu, who produced Justin Bieber's movie, Justin Bieber was discovered through YouTube. So it's like, oh, full circle. But now it's Gem. So I think that's one of the things that seeing the modernization of Gem involves some of the newer things like the fame of social media and like. Although, I like Gem a lot more than Kim Kardashian. So I'm happy with Gem going viral. I'm like, yeah, I want her to become more famous again.
I wish she didn't have the secret identity, but maybe she will. I mean, maybe they'll figure out a way to like...
Oh, the secret identity aspect, yeah. We'll see. We have to wait and see. October 23rd, I believe.
Sequels.
She'll have some kind of secret at least, right?
There's gotta be something, and I like what came up earlier about this, that she is going through the struggle. Like she's going through the struggle of trying to be something she's not necessarily, and dealing with the pressures of fame and being herself. So there'll definitely be something, I think, in the movie. So
maybe synergy was just like a little...
Someone said synergy was like Wall-E. It was like... But we'll see. We will see what happens, and I think October 23rd, I believe, is the release date.
Yes. Can you imagine, like, if it's in the theater, like, we're watching it, and then suddenly, like, that does happen, where, like, the ball of synergy goes, and then there's, like, the super huge, like, synergy, you know that entire, like, place is good. Well, maybe, like, 5 people will be like, wow! Like, freaking out, like, no one will understand. I'm like, I didn't get it.
Well, yeah, even at the very end of that clip, see that one person at the very end of that clip.
Oh yeah, the one person at the very end. There was speculation. Should I get to the speculation?
Yes.
Is everyone spoiler free, or can we just like dish? We'll spill the tea. But it looks like the rumor has it that it's Kesha playing Pizzazz because you see that person at the very end of the clip. She has green hair, and she kind of makes that laugh, and it's like I was waiting for her to say, "Ha ha ha, dance, burn." But it looked like. But then there was also because I was like searching on the internet to see if there's anything like, "Oh, Kesha has Pizzazz," and then months and months ago they caught her like at an airport. Some TMZ had her like she has green hair like Pizzazz, and I was like, "What?" That was months before the new trailer came out. So now I'm like, did she film that and they added that into the movie late, or is that something? So Kesha. I think Kesha would make a good Pizzazz.
I would be okay with that.
I thought of an interesting theory, but I don't know if it would actually happen. So the group, the record company, all knows that she is Gem. Okay, so the secret's out. There could be a way that they could revert that it's not her. If they did use the holograms towards the end, it would kind of take the replacement, but oh, it's not me because I'm over here as a hologram. You could kind of take back that mystery and have it after the fact. Oh, she's Gem. Oh no, Jericho's over there. Somebody else is on stage. And you can kind of separate out that liability of Erica Raymond knows who she is from like a protection point of view, but I don't know if they would actually do that. No, that either she's projecting or that it's a protection that you're now separating out Gem and Jericho apart from that.
Let's get Dara as like the script consultant.
What did you say?
You can be the script consultant.
Well, yeah. Like I think that's an interesting thing that if they do use the idea of projecting Jerica separately from Gem in the movie, and if that does come up, because I think there's definitely room for that concept to appear. So
Looking forward to it.
And then you also think that is a large part of what some people feel might have been lost between the original cartoon and the movie, because that was an essential part of Jem's vulnerability. The fact that she really did have a secret identity that nobody knew, that she was Jericho Benton. So if you take that out, then there's this part of her that is not as, I've lost my wording, but that vulnerability isn't there anymore when you lose the secret identity piece.
Especially when there were several episodes dealing with trying to figure out who she was and putting her in situations that would force her or try to force her to reveal herself, she would lose everything.
But I think Jem is kind of a victim of his own success, because if you explain that to a young person, they're like, oh, like Montana.
You know? Oh my God.
Yeah. So you can't do that anymore.
The people, I've often considered that. I really thought that the idea behind Hannah Montana was a complete ripoff of Jem, because it was set to people whose ages had to be born right after Jem originally aired.
So I think that would be a reason why, if you're modernizing it, that you're not resting